Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. It is a very warm welcome indeed. It's a great evening to be sitting back, kicking back, relaxing, and taking in all the latest news, views, and announcements of the Geelong football community. Good evening. My name is Tonchi Prusak. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight. I cannot wait for tonight's show. It is going to be an absolute pearler. We've got no less than 4 guests. That's right, 4 guests. And we'll go through those guests. We'll be hearing from North Geelong Warriors assistant coach, STUART BEGG. We've got Emily SUTCLIFFE, who is now an Essendon Royals midfielder in the NPLW, kicking off just as we speak that game. We've got a pre-recorded interview with her filmed earlier today down at Hume Reserve, where she's returned in an off-field role with the Galaxy, the Geelong Galaxy FC, that is, as the junior technical director. We'll also be speaking to someone from an unusual club. When I say unusual, we haven't really heard too much about the Colac Otway Rovers Football Club, but we'll be speaking to their secretary, Dave COVENTRY, over the weekend. The Rovers were involved in what was described as the Kana Festival, which is their version, the Colac version of what we would call the Gala Day Festival, I guess, the Paco Festa, and the juniors and some of the seniors involved in a street parade down the main street of Colac on the weekend. We'll also be talking to Nick SCREETCH. He's the spokesman for the Masters Summer League, and boy, have they had a season to remember. And it all culminates this Friday with the season-deciding final round clash between the top 2 sides, and the 3rd and 4th sides will also play off. So it's it is a grand final spectacular. And we'll find out all about what awaits us, plus a massive, massive announcement with regards to the Masters Summer League. And that'll be happening a little bit later on in the show. Folks, it's time to take a break with a bit of a commercial intermission, if you like, but it is a massive show tonight. We're going to get straight into the news desk straight after this break.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Well, it's the news desk time, and we're going to launch straight into, on the weekend, what we had was Media Watch. Well, first of all, let's have a look at Media Watch. So what has been making the local newspaper, the Geelong Advertiser, on last Friday? There was a great article there, Galaxy's Legacy in the NPL. Josie Lonsdale, former central defender with the Geelong Galaxy. Well, that night, last Friday, she made her debut for the Brunswick Juventus, the newly promoted Brunswick Juventus, as they kicked off the NPLW Victoria competition. And Josie, being a former Geelong girl, she's one of several former Geelong Galaxy players playing in the NPLW competition. We will hear from one of those a little bit later on in the show, Emily SUTCLIFFE, who is, as we speak, is fronting up for her team, the Essendon Royals, as they take on Bulleen in round one of the NPLW competition. On the right there, Eagles shock as coach exits. Corio Soccer Club was shocked on Thursday night when the previous coach, or now the departed coach, Robbie Nogler, and the Corio Soccer Club parted ways. And that was just ahead of their weekend Australia Cup clash, which we'll talk about very, very shortly. And in today's paper, Vivian gets to step up. Royals switch for trio. So a great story there on last season's captain of the Geelong Galaxy, Phoebe Vivian. She's joined at the Essendon Royals by Emily SUTCLIFFE and Christy Merry, two other former Geelong Galaxy players. And the trio now calling Essendon Royals home. On the far side, on the far left-hand side, wasteful Warriors continue their bad run. Unfortunately, the North Geelong Warriors just had one of those days where they created plenty of chances, and unfortunately for their supporters and themselves, they just weren't able to capitalise. But here's some highlights of that game. The North Geelong Warriors lost 0-2 to Western United. And I guess what could best be described as an extremely frustrating Victorian Premier League Round 1-6 fixture at Alco Park on Saturday. At least as far as the home fans are concerned. It was the Warriors' sixth consecutive loss of the season, cementing the embattled Lara outfit to the foot of the VPL 1 standings. The Warriors signalled their intentions early, adopting an almost immediately aggressive strategy from the outset. It resulted in Captain Ryan Opperman earning a caution in the 6th minute, the first of 6 yellow cards for the Warriors, as frustration to convert their chances plagued the youthful outfit throughout the afternoon. Against the run of play, Abel Walati managed to find space and shoot past North keeper Vinith Murugamwathi in the 37th minute for the United's opener. The home side dominated possession in the second half, though, but just couldn't find an avenue to goal. They were punished for their inefficiency in front of goal in the 82nd minute, when Nicholas Koch doubled the visitors' lead to condemn the Warriors to their third loss at home this season. Despite the result, the Warriors coaching staff remains adamant the panic bells are not yet tolling at Alco Park. And after the game, our cameras caught up with Warriors assistant coach STUART BEGG. This is what he had to say.
Pretty much I thought we had large parts of it where we were in control. Numerous chances, probably 4 or 5 in a row, where we could have taken the lead. And what seems to be just the current thing at the moment, we've given them 1 chance, maybe 2 chances, and they've punished us. So, I mean, it came in a half-time. We were quite happy of how we actually were playing. We lacked a few things going forward, which we wanted to work on. But again, it was more about us being more clinical.
Yeah. Chances were created, and there were some really good chances, sitters, you could almost say. But the boys just seemed to sort of fall at that last hurdle. Is it a case of confidence or lack of?
I'm not too sure, really. You know, we can do as much finishing at training, and that end of the day, I think it could be lack of confidence and lack of belief just putting the ball in the back of the net, but I'd be more worried if we weren't creating chances. You know, finishing will come. We're very much believing that it'll come, and if we continue creating chances like we are, we're going to win games.
We're to now. We're back to the training track. The next round, obviously. But what are the fundamental things that you'll be looking at this week going into next week?
I would say, you know, the things we'll be working on is probably more the final third. Defence was quite strong today. Process will be like it is every other time. We will turn up Monday, review the game, talk about what we need to work on, and continue to work on those things that we're poor at, and even the things we're still good at. So that doesn't change.
If we take a look there at the ladder, so this is after round 6 of the VPL 1 competition. And it's not a pretty picture for Warriors fans, but as we just heard from the assistant coach, STUART BEGG, once the goals start coming, they're pretty adamant that in the end, things will start to turn in a positive direction, and we'll start to see some victories coming the Warriors' way. So the North Geelong Warriors there at the moment, unfortunately, sitting on the bottom of the competition standings. Not exactly where a place where you want to see them, but it's going to be hopefully changing as of this weekend when the Warriors are at home to Northcote City. Northcote City have had a pretty good start. They're in 5th position at the moment. 3 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. 10 goals for, 10 goals against. But if ever the Warriors need to start earning some points, it's definitely this week's game. That's for sure. Well, let's have a look at the weekend scores. In fact, a lot of games played on the weekend. North Geelong, as we saw, lost 0-2 to Western United. In the Australia Cup, the rescheduled game there involving Corio, unfortunately, they lost to Riversdale 4-2. Goals scored by Mitch Stosic and Nicholas Bardic, and it wasn't enough to get the Eagles over the line. In Nike FC Cup action, the 2 Geelong teams that took part, well, they had a very, very good weekend of matches. Deakin Ducks defeated Malvern City 2-1. Alex Wolf and Ashley Bickey, the scorers for the Ducks. That game went into extra time. Surf Coast travelled to Ballarat and came away with a very good 4-2 win. Tatum Marshall scoring 2 goals, Coco Marcus and Sienna Haji Georgiou. This weekend, in fact, we've got 4 games in the Nike FC Cup, the Women's Nike FC Cup. Saturday sees Darebin Falcons hosting our Deakin Ducks. Now, that's at 3 p.m, but the venue's to be confirmed. So stay tuned for that, Ducks fans. On Sunday, 2 games involving the Geelong sides, both from Lara. Clifton Hill hosting Lara United. That game's at 3 p.m. at Quarries Park. And a bit of a late game for a Sunday evening. Manningham United hosting North Geelong Warriors at Petty's Reserve. That's at 5 p.m. Now, Surf Coast, by virtue of a forfeit from Mazenod, have progressed through to the next round. So they will be moving to round 3, where they will be joining Geelong Galaxy in the next stage of the competition. Now, this weekend, we've got the start of the State League, the Men's State League. The Women's will follow in about a month's time, late April. But in the meantime, the Men's kicks off this week, and boy, have we got some big games. And most of them are at home here in Geelong. Let's start from State League 1. 2 crucial games for both the Geelong sides if they want to get their campaign off to a good start. Corio hosting Upfield at 3 p.m. at Hume Reserve. Geelong, meanwhile, will be hosting Westgate. A big clash, a big important game, this one. Stead Park at 6 p.m. under lights. State League 2 match at Myers Reserve. Geelong Rangers taking on the Uni Hill Eagles. And then in State 4, this is the division to watch, folks. Barwon at home to West Point. That's at Grovedale Reserve. Bell Park are away to Moonee Ponds United. J.H. Allen Reserve. Oh, I just noticed Bell Park are in lower cases. That should be in higher case, in upper cases. So apologies there. Surf Coast at home to Balmoral. Now, this is a big game. Balmoral have spent big. They've got huge ambitions of getting promoted to the next phase, and they come to Balmoral Reserve, to Banyul Warrior Reserve, where the game kicks off at 5 p.m. And Surf Coast will be very, very eager to go one better than last year. In State League 5, Surfside Waves at home to Wyndham, Shell Road Reserve. That game's at 3 p.m. Lara United are away to Ballarat at Tricado Park. That's at 3 p.m. And then the Deakin Ducks hosting Maidstone United at Warm Ponds at 7 p.m. So, folks, if you're interested in getting out to see 3 local games, there's 3 p.m, 5 p.m, 6 p.m, and 7 p.m. kickoffs. They're all staggered. You certainly can do that this week. So a lot to look forward to, that's for sure. On the weekend, well, I guess it's not here in Geelong, but somewhere local around here, was the unveiling of the Western United's new stadium in Tarneit. I guess this is phase 1 of the stadium. This is the training facility. But the Western United women's team took on Newcastle Jets in the A-League women's competition. Unfortunately, Newcastle Jets played the role of party poopers, and they defeated Western United 3-1. But in the end, it was a great day for the 2,000 plus fans that did attend the unveiling, the official unveiling of Western United's new stadium. And there's some photos from the day's unveiling. Well, I mean, it's only, well, I guess for people living in the northern suburbs, it's about 30 minutes away. For those living in the southern suburbs, it's 45 to 50 minutes away. But it's probably the number one football stadium we have at the moment in this locality. And that pretty much wraps it up for the news desk, except for one last bit of news. This Wednesday night at Stead Park, if you're not doing anything, the rescheduled Geelong derby between Geelong and North Geelong in the Junior Boys NPL will be played. The under-16s kick-off proceedings at 6:30 p.m. and that will be followed by the under-18s at 8 p.m. And that game obviously will be played under lights. Here's an opportunity to give the local boys a lot of support. Come along in your hundreds and watch some top-class local football, and also give the young lads that little bit of encouragement as well. And that brings us to the end of the news desk. When we return after the break, we'll have our very, very first guest. She is the Junior Technical Director of Geelong Galaxy FC. She's also newly signed midfielder for the Essendon Royals in the Women's NPL Victoria competition. And she's also a full-time coach. We'll talk to Emily Sutcliffe, and she'll let us in on her new role. And she'll also talk about the development of women's football, female football here in Geelong and the surrounding regions. Don't go away, folks.
Fantastic service, food and coffee, well-stocked produce and groceries at very reasonable prices. 5 stars for the coffee served, beautifully made latte, everything you need in this wonderful little shop. Staff are always friendly and helpful, an absolute treasure to the community. These are just some of the glowing comments of praise by both regular and first-time customers of the iconic Birregurra General Store. The De Cunto family, well known in Geelong football circles, has run the iconic Country General Store since 2020, and apart from providing top-quality service, they, along with their extremely pleasant and friendly staff, make sure that everything you could possibly need is well-stocked and always available. Located at 59 to 61 Main Street in Birregurra and open all 7 days a week, the Birregurra General Store is open from 6 a.m. each weekday and 7 a.m. on weekends. If in Birregurra, pop in and say hello to Steve and Angus.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's our 3rd episode for the year, and we're doing a little bit something different this year. We're kind of getting out and about, and we're at Hume Reserve, which is a bit of a homecoming of sorts for our next guest. And welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, because we've had Emily Sutcliffe on the show many times in the past. So Emily, welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
Thank you. Nice to be back. Good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, very good. Thank you. Look at this day. What a perfect autumn day. It's a lovely Monday morning, and there's a good reason why we're actually pre-recording this on a Monday. When this is going to air later tonight, you're actually going to be in Melbourne playing in the NPLW season opener for Essendon Royals.
Yep.
Wow. Last year, Boroondara Eagles, and now it's a new chapter at Essendon Royals. How did that first of all come about, and how are you feeling about ahead of the new season?
Yeah, really excited for the season. I think a lot of work goes into it, and we're finally at round 1. So yeah, really excited to get going tonight. 8:15 kickoff on a Monday isn't ideal, but it is what it is. But yeah, the move from Boroondara was purely down to the travel. And I'd spoken with Vince, the coach of Essendon Royals, in the previous year, and yeah, really liked his kind of style of play, the way he thinks, the way he conducts his teams, and obviously, you know, the results showed from that for Essendon last year. But yeah, the travel for Boroondara was, yeah, it was a nightmare at peak hours. So doing that, you know, 3-4 times a week took its toll on the body. So yeah, when Essendon got promoted, it was it was a really good choice to take half an hour off the journey and get closer. And yeah, really looking forward to it.
Makes a big difference. And as we mentioned in the news desk section of tonight's program, in today's Geelong Advertiser, there's a great little feature on a former Galaxy captain, last year's Galaxy captain, Phoebe Vivian, who joins you at Essendon, as does Christy Mary, another Galaxy girl.
Yes, yeah, no, it's good to see there's a few of us going across now, which is makes the travel easier when you're sharing it between us. But no, I'm really excited for the other girls as well, that they've got that opportunity to play NPL, and we're just looking forward to getting started tonight.
Well, newly promoted, I mean, you and Christy had that experience at Boroondara, and gee, didn't Boroondara do so well in their first season back? So you've got that experience of having played in a newly promoted side. But Essendon Royals, and I was watching a special feature on Football Victoria about Essendon Royals a couple of years ago. They were in State 1, and now all of a sudden they're in NPLW. Explain to us, what's the mood around the club? What's the level of excitement heading into the NPLW season, both on field but also off the field?
Yeah, pure excitement. Everyone's just raring to go. We've got nothing to lose really, so just out there as the newly promoted team, the underdogs if you like. So coming into that again, I personally love playing in that kind of environment, and showing everyone what we're made of and what we can do. And it's a really solid group of girls this year. Really good culture at the club. We've already had a few club events with president, and you know, everyone's round the girls. The girls are doing really well. The men come and watch the girls and things as well, which is cool. So a lot's gone into getting to the point where we're at now. So now we've just got to, you know, get the job done tonight. Yeah,
we'll talk a lot about other things associated with the NPLW, but let's get back to, I guess, Essendon Royals. Look, when you were at Galaxy, you played that kind of central playmaker or central midfielder playmaker role. At Boroondara, much of the same. You played, you were kind of versatile, played in a few different positions. What do you see your role as this year for the Royals?
Yeah, so similar to what I have been doing previously. So Boroondara is playing a bit more defensive than what, you know, I'm used to. So that was a new role for me, and kind of gave me a different outlook on the game as well. But again, this year playing in that central channel and really trying to provide the ball to our top 3 or top 4. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting match tonight as well. We're going against the previous champions. We narrowly missed out by 2 points last year. So I feel like no one really expects much of us going into it, and they don't know much about us. So it's a chance to prove ourselves and show how far we've been working over our pre-season and what we've been doing.
Now, you've obviously tasted NPLW experience with the Galaxy before, and then you stayed with the Galaxy when they were VPL, and now you've come back into the NPL competition. I mean, there's been monumental changes. I mean, it's gone from 8-team competition to an 11, and this year there's going to be 12 teams. Apart from just the structure of the competition, have you noticed the standard different, increase, improve, the pace of the game, the ferocity of the game? What sort of changes have you seen in that time?
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, for me personally, getting older, the pace of the game seems to be getting further up. But you know, it's always a delight running after 16-year-olds and trying to catch up with them. But no, it's definitely improving. I think the standard of coaching is improving as well. Like I was saying, that the level of detail that Vince has gone into so far is, I haven't seen that level of detail in the female game since I was back in the UK. So it's really good to see how, I think, you know, knock-on effect from the Matildas, and more people are watching the female games. The crowds are getting bigger. The professionalism is just going up and up. So I think you can really see that reflect in the game as well. And there's some really good, talented girls coming through, which is good for the NPLW, but also good for the country. That there's that next step coming through as well. So it's really good, and I'd encourage everyone to try and get down to a game. Or now they're live on YouTube. It's everyone can watch on there. So the more support we get, it's more important for the girls that are coming through the ranks as well to get that exposure.
But we've seen 2 years ago you and Christy moved to Boroondara, or last year I should say, but since that time it's almost like you're pioneers, because we've had Josie Lonsdale and
what's Vanessa, I think from Brunswick Juventus.
Yep.
That I know of, Maddie Rakic, if I'm not mistaken, at Bentley Greens, Poppy and Hunter Gurkovic at Preston, the under-23s. Natalie Pickhack as well. She's at Western United in the A-League, but she will probably likely come back to Calder United as well. So there's a lot of girls, ex-Galaxy girls, coming up through the ranks now. And that, I guess, brings us to our next question. You've come back to Galaxy in an off-field role as the junior technical director. So it's a massive undertaking, massive responsibility, but if anyone can do it, it's definitely you, Emily. Being responsible for the next generation. Tell us more about that role.
Yeah, I think, well, it's something that I've always wanted to do. Obviously, I coach as a full-time job as well, so trying to get my coaching experience up and up while I can. It's a bit challenging at times whilst I'm still playing, and obviously the travel commitments to Melbourne as well, but it's I've always wanted to be able to do it, and like you said, there's proof in the pudding that, you know, the Galaxy girls are going up into the NPL competition and we are getting exposure to kind of junior Matildas, young Matildas and things. So being from a kind of country town myself back in the UK, I always knew that you know, the biggest cities is where the opportunity is at. So for me personally, I want to try and make sure that we're doing as much as we can in Geelong to make sure that we're fostering the growth of all the girls here and giving them the opportunity to play at the top level. So if I can be part of that success and kind of pave the pathway through for all the younger girls coming through, then that's a goal for me as well. So
and we see more and more it's in the NPL pathway, it's harder to retain a whole team together because there's always these opportunities, whether it's in the boys or the girls. Players tend to sort of drift towards some of the A-League academies and things like that. How are you, this year's crop of players, how are you finding them adjusting to that, you know, your demands, your kind of requests, and to that of the coaching staff as well?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just always been about professionalism, no matter what level you're playing at. And personally, played, you know, in Geelong, played in Melbourne, played in Wrexham in the UK, and it's just wherever you go, just holding yourself as a top professional player. And even if you're not doing that as your full-time role, then you know, still conduct yourself around. And that's really something that we've tried to impose on the girls from a younger level, is just the, you know, positive culture, being polite and being respectful and holding yourself in the highest regard. So you know, turning up to training on time and all these basics that I think all footballers, all young footballers need to hold themselves in that way, and the opportunities come from there. So that's been a big one for us, is just getting the culture right, getting expectations of coaches and players up to the top level, and then hopefully, you know, these kind of opportunities do start coming to those players. Because a big thing I've always noticed from my experience is, you know, people are looking at attitude off the pitch and on the pitch as well. So if you can get that right, then you know, the talent takes care of itself.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, that whole culture side of things. And I think the more and more I speak to coaches, they really push that, they really reiterate that. You mentioned you're a full-time coach, so you do that now as a living. You're a professional coach with Football Stars Academy. So you're dealing with a lot of kids that are just new to the game, that, you know, probably can't kick, but, you know, they want to learn to kick. And then you've also dealing with those elite players at the other end of the spectrum. How do you as a coach kind of approach those two completely different almost audiences, but still with the same kind of end goal of them enjoying and improving their skills? Yeah,
I think it's just about the big word for me all the time is opportunity. So are we providing enough opportunity, especially being a regional city, to bringing players into the game? So whether we've got a 5-year-old that's kicking the ball for the first time, or a 10-year-old that wants to be going into, you know, the next level of their pathway, then just making sure that they feel supported, and also educate them on the game and parents on the game as well. You know, we're in a city that's got a lot of football going on, but we've also got AFL, basketball, everything else as well. So it's just about making sure, you know, it's again part of the culture, and we want to be able to provide the pathway. Like you said, we do our elite programs as well, so we're helping boys and girls that want to get to the next level, and whether that's NPL or whether they want to get to an academy, or, you know, A-League academy, or whatever they're going to. We've got tours going as well, so we're taking a group across in September to the UK. So we're going to Tottenham, and we've got links with obviously Ange being there as well. So we're taking over 30 players across to the UK, and next year we've got Spain on the cards and stuff as well. So just about providing those opportunities and exposure to the game.
Yeah. We 2 weeks ago, when on our first show back, we had an interview with Adrian Layer from Curva Coaching, and he's done the big plunge this year. He's going full time into his business, and he's got a couple of coaches as well that are going full time. So it seems to me there's a growing industry. It's still small, but compared to maybe AFL, but in Geelong we've started to have this football industry. Are we heading in the right path? Have we got enough resources? Do the clubs collaborate off the field a little, or should they be collaborating a lot more? What's your take on the landscape of football as an industry, not just as a recreation, but as an industry here in Geelong at the moment?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I've been in Geelong now for coming up to 5.5, 6 years. So I've seen it change a lot and evolve a lot, and we've got more teams, and we've actually just, I'm part of the GRFC as well, so helping with all the clubs and trying to help build the game, especially the girls' game, and we're experiencing growth in every club for the girls' game, which is brilliant. So, I think there's definitely more demand for football. A lot of my role is within schools as well, where there's a huge demand of making sure that, within that term where the PE teachers are focusing on football, we go in and help them and give them session plans and give them ideas, and then hopefully that might foster a love of the game from a few participants within that class. And the clubs as well, with the work Adrian's doing and myself, and there's other people around doing great work within the community, and the more we can get kids playing, then that's the main goal. So, and the more opportunities we can give for professional and quality coaching, that's great as well. We're looking at helping coaches as well. We've got a lot of parent volunteer coaches, so
that's great.
Going in, and we did it last year with Lara. We've helped Geelong Soccer Club. We're looking at even here at Corio and Galaxy is going in and just helping the junior coaches and getting players as well. Like, I've got a few senior players at the moment with Galaxy that are coming across, and the more we can get them exposed to professional coaching techniques and session plans and how to run a session and all these the basics. If we're getting the basics right, then we're going in the right direction. So, the population of Geelong's growing, the amount of people playing football is growing, so we've got to have the infrastructure in place to support that as well. Yeah.
And one thing I think a lot of other sports do very, very well, and officially that other sport, the oval ball or egg ball or whatever they want to call it, they seem to do it really well, and netball, because it's so tied in, is the side of mental health.
Yes.
We're talking about young people, but here at Galaxy, you've actually done something with Read My Play.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, something for both the kids themselves, the players, but also the parents and the carers. Tell us a bit more about that as well, that program.
Yeah, so we knew a bit about Read the Play through some other clubs. They had been partnered with AFL, basketball and cricket. So we reached out to Michelle, and I went and had a meeting with her and just kind of said, look, football is, one of the biggest sports within the region in terms of participation. We'd really like to connect, and we managed to get the partnership over the line, which was really good. So they're actually coming down tonight, so they'll run mental health workshops with all of our junior age groups and some of the senior age groups as well, and just basically touching on drugs, alcohol, gambling, all these kind of big issues that younger players may face now within the game, and just help them understand these. And for us as a club as well, we'll actually get officers trained up, so just parents that can go and get mental health training, so that we can recognise if there's any triggers within the playing group or within the players. So we're just following that player-centred approach that we're adopting this year, and making sure we're supporting the girls on and off the pitch to be the best person they can be.
Well, just judging by everything that we've spoken about, there's a real need for having some of those roles, like junior technical director and coaches and director of coaching, which once upon a time might have been voluntary. It's almost these days almost a necessity to have it almost full-time, or if not, an expanded part-time role. But looking ahead to this year, obviously with your role at Galaxy, with your role teaching and coaching and all of that kind of stuff, plus the NPLW, you're going to have your hands pretty full. Are you enjoying that?
It's definitely got its challenges, for sure. It's got its challenges, and it's just about being super organised. And like I was saying to the girls off the pitch, we've got to be carrying ourselves in the best possible way. So if I can give back to the game that's supported me and taken me across the world and met the people that I've met and things, if I can provide that kind of support to players coming through, then that's my main goal. And but playing while the body still can, that's my priority. And anything else I can help with off the pitch and around Geelong to grow the game and get us up to the standards that we should be at, then I'll always put my hand up to do it.
Yeah. Well, if you want inspiration about playing well behind your peak years, stay tuned for our interview with Nick Screetch from the Masters Summer League. A little bit later on, we'll be talking about the Masters Summer League and the culmination coming up this weekend. But in the meantime, Emily, thank you for joining us on this absolutely beautiful autumn day. Wishing you and Galaxy and Essendon Royals all the very best for 2024, and really appreciate everything that you do for the growth of the game with the boys and the girls, but also just with the clubs in general. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate that. Thanks for the time.
Good on you.
Cheers.
Colac, Otway, Rovers, first time into Tarneit as a COVENTRY Soccer Club. Of course, today showing off their senior and junior members. They welcome everyone to Otway Rovers. We'd like to have them go down and have a crack for the first time in the Carnival Parade today. And of course, Gary, if you'd like to find out more details, you can jump on their Facebook page. Please welcome the Colac Otway Rovers.
And there you go. That was footage from the Colac Otway Rovers taking part in the annual Carna Festival, which is held on the weekend in Colac. I guess it's similar to what a gala day, what we used to have in Geelong. We used to, don't have that anymore. And maybe the Paco Festa, which was recently held as well in Packington Street, Geelong West. Speaking of Packington Street, big shout out to the King of Paco himself, Santino Mamone. He's always tuning into this program. But it's my absolute pleasure now, speaking of the Carna Festival, to welcome the secretary of the Colac Otway Rovers Football Club, none other than Dave Coventry. Dave, welcome to the show. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. And mate, let's first of all, congratulations on the new appointment there at Colac Otway.
Thanks, Tochi. Great to be here. Thanks for having me, and great opportunity to talk about the club and some of the things that we're trying to get going for the season ahead.
Yeah, mate, the weekend, let's talk about that. First, as the announcer there, really jovial kind of a chap too, by the way. He said it was the first time that the Colac Otway Rovers have participated in the Carna Festival. Tell us, how did it come about, first of all, and how was it received by the general public?
Yeah, really well received. So Carna Festivals, as you said before, it's a bit like Colac's version of Moomba. So we have just a community festival to celebrate different groups and different themes. And this year the theme was around our wide world of sports. So lots of different sporting clubs were involved. It was an opportunity for us as a club that's looking to grow and looking to increase our coverage in a town that's somewhat ruled by Aussie rules a little bit. It's hard to get a foothold. But yeah, so it was an opportunity to be involved and march down the street and let people know who we are. And yeah, good opportunity. And a great day. It was beautiful weather and really good to be part of the community.
Yeah, well, we've got some more footage there of one of the other, that was probably the start of it, actually. And yeah, as you said, beautiful weather, but it was great to see the kids out and about. And in years gone by, I guess we haven't really known too much about the Colac Otway Rovers. They've had obviously a senior presence in the Geelong competition, but that junior side of things are growing. But you've always had a strong kind of presence inside, like within the club, intra-club and that sort of stuff. But you're now actually kind of growing that outside of the club's parameters, if you like, and looking at entering teams in the junior competitions in Geelong. Or you have in some cases, but one of the things that you're most looking forward to is the girls. I'm hearing there's a real chance you may field a girls team for the first time.
Yeah, we're trying very hard, trying to get the enthusiasm there. So we had a really great year last year with our junior under 12s. And that's turned into multiple teams this year, which is fantastic. There's lots of interest, and obviously to make us feel like a complete club, we really want to drive the girls' participation and work over the next few years to really try to cement a girls' presence in the club and have girls competing in the green and black.
How are the numbers looking, by the way? I mean, the season's not that far to go, the new season, that is. How are numbers looking across the board at the Rovers?
Really strong so far. We're looking like we'll have 3 or 4 junior teams, and we've had a really good turnout from the senior guys as well. So we're looking like we'll field two senior teams.
Wow,
which is great. So so we'll go. It'll be interesting to see once we get to the grading part of the season, go through, just see where we all fall and which leagues we all end up in. But we've grown it really quickly and really strongly. There's a great indoor soccer presence in Colac with the kids, and we've had a few of the senior guys who have been playing at different clubs over the last few years come back and have shown an interest in playing for Rovers this year. So we look like we'll field 2 senior teams as well, which is fantastic.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Where are the bulk of the players coming from, whether it's the juniors, whether it's the seniors? Is it purely locals from around the Colac area, or is it, a couple of weekenders, so to speak, coming from the Geelong area? But it seems to be a bit of a combination of the two, is it?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a group of guys that have been either played with us in the past or spent the last few years playing around in Southwest Victoria and Corangamite and other places, who have come back to the club, got back involved. We've recruited Eddie Doris is going to coach our senior team. So he's a guy that some of the Bell Park crew will know, who's got a strong history in Geelong football, and he moved into Birregurra, which is just down the road from us, and we're looking forward to having him coach the seniors. And we've already seen at training just the presence of a coach who has a plan and wants to get the most out of his players is really something that's the guys that are playing are benefiting from. And there were some kids last year that did miss out on playing, and so we've really tried hard with the juniors to get the numbers up and develop or give as many kids as possible the opportunity to have a kick and play football with us in the year ahead.
Now, speaking of Birregurra, big shout out to Stephen Angus Kunto from the Birregurra General Store, one of our business advertisers. And funny enough, speaking to Steve a couple of months ago, he actually mentioned to me about Eddie Doris going to Colac, and that's a huge coup. Yeah, a lot of the people particularly from Bell Park, Rangers, the old, I guess the 90s, 2000s would know very well of Eddie and the Doris family, so famous around Geelong football circles. But is the appointment of Eddie also part of the next phase of the Colac Otway Rovers, where it's not just now purely a sporting club or a participatory club, but there are, some of the talented members, particularly of the juniors, are now starting to come to Geelong, try out for the country champs rep teams. I know, speaking of here, you told me how there's a group of young kids that each week come up to the Curva Coaching Academy on a Monday to Geelong. So we're now starting to see a lot of the players kind of their appetites start to grow for bigger and better things. That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And being involved with my kids last year, it's one of the first things I picked up on, and really probably the driver for me to get involved in the club was giving the kids an opportunity to develop. And it's been great to be involved with things like the Curva program. So Adrian's doing a great job there, and trying to give the kids in Colac a chance to show their talents in and around Geelong and be involved in representative football, because we've got a great group, and if we can try and build on those numbers over the next 3 or 4 years, we'll hopefully put a plan together that gives us a stream of players that will eventually play at senior level. So
yep.
I think traditionally we've probably had those under 12, 13, 14 kids play, and then it all falls over by the time you get to sort of 15, 16s, and it's hard to keep those numbers going through. So if we can build that pathway and give the kids the opportunity, that's a real win for us.
Well, speaking of Bell Park Soccer Club, I guess one of the funny things that I find, Dave, here in Geelong, in the Geelong football community, is the fact that some of the clubs are kind of not based in their locality. I mean, Bell Park, for example, are based in Batesford. Corio Soccer Club are based in Bell Park. North Geelong Soccer Club are based in Lara. Now, Colac Otway Rovers aren't actually based in Colac up until at the moment we're based in Beac. Which is about 15, 20 minutes outside of Colac. But there are plans afoot, obviously, to bring the club back home, to relocate the club, closer to Colac, in fact, in Colac. And that's all part of a big master plan at the moment. Tell us a bit more about that, and has there been any movement to getting Colac back in Colac, so to speak?
Yeah, we're working hard with the council to try and bring all that plan forward. The council's obviously recognised the G21 football report that has recently been passed through at council level and state government level, and so they're aware that football facilities in general in the Shire need to be developed, and they've committed some money. We're hopeful that we'll get some money for them to do some feasibility work to try and put a football facility in Colac as soon as possible. There's obviously a timeline on all of that, which hopefully isn't too long. But in the meantime, the seniors are playing out at Beac, which is a fantastic place for us. It's our own space. It's something that I think we need to invest in over the next 3 to 5 years, in the hope that in the background that there's another facility or a facility based in town that's being developed. But the BAC facilities is going to be something that we will use, and we need to work together with the committee out there that run the facility to be the best tenants we can, and really try and develop the ground, because it is a great space, and it's something that we can be really proud of if we put some love into it. So
fantastic. Well, look, some exciting things happening there at Colac Otway Rovers. Great to see the new faces on board as well, and the participation in the local community. I mean, things like that can only just even further boost the profile of the club. But yeah, one last appeal to any parents watching, listening, who have got young girls willing to play. Your girls team, tell us, what was it again? What age group was it that you're looking at?
We're looking at under 13 girls. We're probably half a dozen girls away from having a team that will compete in the Geelong competition next year, this season ahead. Sorry. Really keen. Just want to give the girls an opportunity. Obviously, everyone's trying to build off the success of the Matildas and the joy that the World Cup brought the football community in Victoria and around the country, and we are really hopeful that we can put some girls on the park in green and black and give them a chance to express themselves. So yeah, that's the goal. So.
Well, fingers crossed, mate. Hopefully that can be achieved. It'll be great to see a girls team, an under 13 girls team, competing in the Geelong competition. And if anyone's from the Birregurra, the southern suburbs of Geelong, Winchelsea, anywhere out that way that is even looking at an option for their child to play, the Colac Otway Rovers is a fantastic option there. And because you're obviously playing every second week in Geelong, well, if you are Geelong based, there's always that added appeal as well. But mate, thank you very much for joining us on the show. I might go out and say in the 6 years that we've had the Geelong Region Soccer Show, this is the first time we've had someone from Colac Otway Rovers, and that's great. I've personally found it really interesting to find out a little bit more about Colac Otway Rovers, and let's certainly hope it's not the last time either.
No, absolutely. Thanks for having us, and yeah, happy to pump up our tyres anytime you give me the opportunity. So
not a problem. Good luck for 2024, Dave.
Cheers. Thank you.
That was Dave Coventry, the secretary of the Colac Otway Rovers. When we return after this very, very short break, we'll be talking to Nick SCREETCH from the Masters Summer League, and he'll be talking about, well, what has been a huge Masters season, and it all culminates this Friday night at Myers Reserve with a massive, massive game that is going to be, well, we'll divulge that secret after this break. You're watching the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Are you too busy running your own business to worry about your financials? Allow J Hill Books to focus on your books so you can focus on your core business. Based in Lara, Geelong, J Hill Books owner, operator and senior bookkeeper Judy Hill has always worked in finance administration. The world of cloud accounting, however, means that clients can be based anywhere within Australia. Currently, J Hill Books services clients from Lara, Geelong, the Bellarine Peninsula and Melbourne. You won't need to come home from working all day and start on paperwork. You can spend your time in other productive areas such as marketing or quoting, or even better, come home and switch off. You will know how your business is tracking as often as you need, whether that is on a weekly, monthly or quarterly basis. You can be satisfied that you are meeting your legal requirements to your staff and to the ATO. And deadlines will no longer be stressful for you. Let J Hill Books take the stress out of running a small business and allow you to enjoy watching your business go to the next level. For more information, visit our website at www.jhillbooks.com.au, or better yet, call us on 0402 469 243 or email us at info@jhillbooks.com.au.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It is our third episode for season 2024, and we really appreciate you being here with us, and thank you very much for your presence. We've had some great guests tonight, and we've still got some more guests to come. But before we do that, Curva Coaching Geelong is one of our esteemed sponsors, and we thank Adrian and the crew there at Curva Coaching for backing the Geelong Region Soccer Show this year. And there's a holiday camp that Curva Coaching is organising on the 2nd, the 3rd and the 4th of April. It's at Geelong College. Then Lawn on the 4th and the 5th of April. Torquay the 8th, 9th and the 10th of April. And registrations are now live. So if you want more information, if you'd like to register your child for one of those holiday camp dates, do so by going to the website curva.com.au. You can ring 0423 975 569 or email geelong@curva.com.au. That's geelong@curva.com.au. And just a reminder about those games coming up this weekend. Well, there's a midweek round of matches, or rescheduled round of matches, if you like, in the Junior Boys NPL. At Stead Park, Geelong Soccer Club taking on North Geelong Warriors. The under-16s at 6:30, the under-18s at 8 p.m. Then we've also got some Nike FC games being held this week. Unfortunately, actually, none of those will be in Geelong. Deakin Ducks, Lara United and North Geelong Warriors all travelling away. But to compensate for that, the Men's State League competitions kick off this weekend, and there is a glut of home games this weekend, all on Saturday. Coria at home to Upfield, Geelong at home to Westgate, Rangers at home to Unihill Eagles, Barwon at home to West Point, Surf Coast at home to Balmoral, Bell Park travelling away to Moonee Ponds United. Then we've got Surfside Waves at home to Wyndham, Deakin Ducks at home to Maidstone United, and Lara United travel to Bell Park. Lara United travel to Ballarat, apologies. And we're asking in the chat section if the Geelong Region Soccer Show cameras are to go out to one of the games this week, which game would you like to see? Let us see in the chat section, in the comment section, which game or which club you'd like us to cover this week. At the moment, front runners are Geelong Rangers, because they are the only club at the moment to have sponsored an episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And if you missed that episode last week, go over to our YouTube channel and you'll find out all of that information there. But now it's time for our final guest of tonight, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, Nick SCREETCH from the Masters Summer League. Nick, good evening, and how are you? Hello, Nick. Can we hear you? You may have switched off your microphone. Doesn't look like we've got Nick there. Hello, Nick. Can we hear you? Okay, well, we can't seem to get Nick on, but we're going to have a look at some of the...
dropping in and out a little bit.
Ah, here we go. We've got you on now. Yeah, it looks like...
Hi there, can you hear me?
We sure can. Yeah. How are you, Nick? How's things?
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can, yes. Can you hear me? We've got some issues with your
Hello,
internet
Sonchi,
connection.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? No, you can't. We might get you to just log off and then come back on. We're going to take a very, very short break, I guess, while we try and rectify this problem that we have.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
With Nick.
Sorry about that.
Folks,
Yeah.
Don't go away we'll be back very, very shortly.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We're just waiting for Nick SCREETCH from the Masters Summer League to jump back on. We just had some technical issues. We could see him, we could hear him. He just couldn't hear us, unfortunately. But do stay tuned. Later this week, on Friday, there will be a major live announcement. That's all I can say at the moment. There will be a major live announcement on the Geelong Region Soccer News Facebook page. But in the meantime, let's try and get a hold of Nick again. Nick SCREETCH. Welcome, Nick, to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Hi, Tonchi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great
That's
stuff.
good. Now we can hear. It's funny because prior to the show, mate, we got on, we tested it, everything went well, and as they always say in show business, there's always going to be something that stuffs up it. Mate, thanks for joining us. And first of all, it's been a massive Masters Summer League. Speaking to some of the weary and aged participants, they seem to say it's been one of the best, if not the best one yet.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. It's certainly been the biggest. We had 13 teams in the competition at the beginning of the season, which was a record for the comp. Yeah. And probably with a few rounds to go, we had about 330 players sign up to participate in one form or another. So yeah, it's been massive. We've had loads of firsts this year. So we had 7 sponsors on board, 3 supporting businesses. We got Football Victoria referees for the very first time, which was a big win for us. And then we used some new venues because our previous places we usually use Surfside and Drysdale, because there were works and various stuff going on there. We had to find other locations, and the people from Barwon FC and Corio and Breakwater, Lara and Geelong Rangers have all sort of stood up and helped us put on an event each week. So there's been loads and loads of work going on. It's been a really fantastic competition, and we're all cooking up for a really big Friday night where we're having the final round.
Well, we'll talk about that very shortly, and we'll talk about the round that just gone by. But there's some photos there of some of the lads have all got smiles on their face, and that's great to see. All sorts of body shapes, all sorts of ages, generations, and what you're not. But you've certainly been blessed with some of the weather, some fine weather. But actually, as the Masters have kind of kicked off, it seems to me that summer has come really late, and there've been some, absolute scorches where you've had to kind of last minute move games to a Friday night or under lights or something like that. Now, whilst I'm talking, look at the goal. Look at this.
Yeah, let's have a look at
this
this goal.
one.
Simon Keogh will be pleased that this one's made it in.
Oh, that's incredible. Fantastic. Whoever the camera person was there, they did a ripper job. But getting back to that, I guess the logistical nightmare, as you said, 330 players, and all of a sudden you get this last minute kind of need to change games or entire rounds. How has been, I don't know, how have you been able to execute those last minute changes?
Well, this year we expanded the committee who are sort of helping to put the event on. So there's 7 of us now, where there were 3 before, and the team organisers as well. So I think probably the overriding theme, what we've tried to do is get the players and the participants involved, because it's everyone's competition. It's not just the people organising it, and we want everyone to feel ownership of that. I think really you see that through the team organisers, that we have a group, and because a lot of them attached to the clubs, when we need to put something on at the last minute or move it, we've got a bunch of people who's willing to roll up their sleeves and get things moved. So, Geelong Rangers have been amazing this year, because they've put on like a midweek round. We've had a Friday night round there as well, and Lara United as well. I'd love to call those guys out as well, because they've had one good round. We had on a Saturday afternoon that was probably about 35 degrees, which is about our upper limit. And then I think the next time it came round to play there, it was above that, so we had to reschedule at the last minute. But everyone's been willing to pitch in and help out, so it's been fantastic.
Yeah, on a serious note, I guess if we, I mean, I know it's all about fun and games, but has it, on a serious note, have there been injuries? Have there been issues with the heat or anything like that? Do you have first aid? Do you have paramedics on standby just in case? I know people are going to laugh, but this is a serious side of it as well.
No, totally. Well, we have a physio that's there, and Marnie's great. She helps us out, see the sensible side of when all these old people are going out on the park when they perhaps shouldn't do. And we take a very sort of safety first approach with all this stuff, because we are very conscious. We might still think we're 20, but we're not. So, as soon as the temperature gets to an excessive level, we have those conversations quite early on in the week and see if we don't always leave it down to the people that are playing to make that decision, because we think it's, we've got to take the safety first.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look now at the round just gone by. Some amazing results and some very, very interesting results. From the top there, Boca stayed in third place with a 5-0 win over FC Leopold. Groverdale beat Blackman's Brewery 4-0, teeing up a third-place shootout with Boca next week. Then Drysdale and Elephant and Castle played out a 1-1 draw. 2 goals and a heroic penalty save handed a surprise 2-0 win for Armstrong United against Rangers, and that meant that Bell Park moved into top spot with an 11-0 rout of Valhalla. And then finally, Surf Coast defeated Sharks with 2-0. So we have a look at the ladder there with 1 round to go, and obviously, Nick, there are no finals, so it's just first past the post. But more or less, you've got a finals competition here, because Bell Park are on top with 28 points, 1 ahead of Rangers Masters. And guess what? They meet in the final round of the season. Boca Masters taking on Grovedale Rovers, 3rd versus 4th. So there's 24 and 23 points there. Then we've got Blackman's Brewery, Security, Sharks, Surf Coast, Drysdale, Elephant and Castle, Armstrong United, Brewer Colac, FC Leopold, and at the foot of the competition standings, Valhalla Brewing. But, mate, you could not have wished for a better final competition, could you?
No, as organisers, we've been, keeping our fingers crossed that there would still be something to play for when we got to the final round. And thanks to a very astute fixture computer, whoever worked those out, it's turned out really well. We had no idea how this would go at the end of the season, but yeah, very pleased that it's all to play for. I mean, Bell Park have only just gone top after Rangers have been looking like they were going to walk it all year. So we've got a big game. Final game kicks off at 8 p.m. on Friday night, and where it's all to play for. Really exciting.
Yeah, the third place playoff as well. We've got who do we say? It was Boca meeting Groverdale as well, so that should be really good as well. What time's that kick off?
That's 6:30. Boca are my team actually, so we're
right?
But we're very pleased to got where we are this year. It's we've traditionally been holding up the table a little bit, and we've been improving gradually year on year. We've had some new players join this year, and it's been a good season for us. It's been a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Now, you've got a big announcement. 8 p.m. is that final under lights there at Myers Reserve. Geelong Rangers taking on Bell Park, second versus first. What a game that's going to be. Now, you've got a massive announcement to announce.
Yes. So what I'll do before I do that, I'll tell you a bit about the evening itself.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're trying to make it a big event. So Friday night, get everyone down, come and watch the games, starting them early, and we're hoping to get all the other games finished before the 8 o'clock game kicks off. After that, we've got a DJ, we've got music playing from one of the players who's an acoustic musician, so he'll be playing, and the bar and the canteen will be open. So the reason I'm telling you all that bit and painting the picture of how much fun it'll be is that I don't put you off, because we're going to be live streaming it on Facebook as well. So there's no excuse to stay at home, but if you really can't get there, and I know we've got a massive overseas audience, they can tune in and watch the final game live. So it'll be fantastic.
I guess the beauty of that is that it is going to be obviously recorded, or if on Facebook Live, people will be able to go watch it back. And I guess the two combatants will be able to use it as study for next season, or maybe they might use it as a bit of motivation. But there we go. That's fantastic news. So Friday night's final, Geelong Rangers taking on Bell Park, 8 p.m, followed by a big after party in the Rangers club rooms, expected to attract a big crowd. Obviously, a lot of people will be there as it is, but we're asking the Geelong football community to turn up in its hundreds, in its thousands. Come to Myers Reserve on Friday night and watch some of the golden oldies in action. It is going to be lots and lots of fun, and there'll be more announcements regarding that night to be made throughout the week, and we look forward to that. But
and Tonchi, I'd like to get another little exclusive for you, what they'll be playing for on Friday night, as well as the usual trophy. We've got, for the very first time, it's the Masters Summer League beer mat, commemorative beer mat. So the winner of the competition this year gets to take this home, and, like they have the flags in the footy, they'll be able to hang this in their bar, and pride of place. Every year we'll be producing one of these. So, yeah.
That sounds fantastic, Nick. Nick, thank you once again for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We certainly look forward to hearing some really, really good things about the Masters Summer League final round of matches this Friday night up at Geelong Rangers. And hoping it's going to be a big night, and look forward to next season. That next season will be what? The 7th year, is that right?
6th year next year.
6th year, so it's the 5th year this year. Yeah, fantastic.
So, yeah, got 5th year T-shirt.
There you go. we've got the camera mirrored, so everything's back to front. Not to worry. Thanks you, mate, and once again, good luck for Friday night.
Pleasure, and thanks for having us on. Cheers.
Good on you. Nick Screech from the Masters Summer League. As we said, stay tuned. There's some big announcements coming this week. Some huge announcements on Friday, as well, a live announcement, and there will be more announcements being made throughout the week leading up to this weekend. So some big games happening starting from Wednesday night, and then as well later on the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, a lot of the Geelong junior teams will be travelling up to Bendigo for the annual Bendigo Cup, the Boys FC and Girls FC Cup matches as well. So lots to play for there. I do believe also that Macca's Cup is happening on the other side of Melbourne as well. Thank you, folks, for being a part of tonight's show. We really, really appreciate it. Until next Monday night, 8 p.m, enjoy the football, because the football action, the local football action, is really, really hotting up. Good night.